As of last night, there were 5 deaths and 32 cases.
There's a cluster in an elementary school.
Okay, that's the kind of thing you're going to have to be prepared for. It's going to be all over the news big time. What's your single overriding communications objective?
We're isolating the sick and quarantining those who we believe were exposed.
Okay, good.
The film Contagion tracks the first several weeks from different perspectives as a new virus sweeps the world, killing the infected in a matter of days with no known cure. But what makes Contagion so creepy is that the virus is only briefly the villain. Very quickly, that role shifts from the virus to the hands and faces of every person on the planet, and eventually to human nature itself, leaving you with an overpowering desire to wash your hands and not touch anything. What makes Contagion so unnerving is how dispassionately and realistically it deals with the fear, death, and hysteria as it travels the globe, taking you through the many facets of how a population would react to a pandemic, how governments would try to manage it, and how scientists would try to stop it. But perhaps the trickiest thing that director Steven Soderbergh pulled off is that regardless of what any of the characters do, and some of those things are pretty awful, they're never demonized and their actions are always understandable if not justifiable. Naturally, there'd be people like Mitch, played by Matt Damon, who become overprotective, traumatized single parents after the death of a spouse, like Mitch's wife Beth, played by Gwyneth Paltrow. There'd be muckraking journalists and bloggers hungry to uncover conspiracies surrounding the pathogen and possible cures, like Jude Law's character Alan Crumwide, even if his goals aren't always noble and the information he's releasing could have serious repercussions. There'd be people like Lawrence Fishburne's character Ellis Cheever, a deputy director for the Center for Disease Control attempting to coordinate the government's response to the virus, but not above using privileged information to help his family. But the film's true heroes are the scientists attempting to learn more about the virus and its origins in order to create a vaccine. This was particularly gratifying for me since I grew up in a family of scientists, and it pisses me off watching Republicans repeatedly ignore or mischaracterize science while publicly attacking scientists' motives and ethics while maintaining the idiotic, impossible notion that there's some international, decades-long conspiracy of scientists quashing information disproving evolution and climate change. The scientists in Contagion, which include Kate Winslet, Jennifer Ely, Elliot Gould, and Marion Cotillard, are much more like the scientists I grew up around. Dedicated men and women who truly love science, the discovery of the unknown, and unlocking mysteries that improve people's lives. It's these scientists who risk their lives on the front lines of our deadliest microbial battles, and they deserve some respect. With so much tragedy and a deadly, unseen killer on the loose, Contagion wouldn't be faulted for tugging at heartstrings or going for cheap scares. But the film never does that, with a matter-of-fact tone and barely any music, unless it's the thumping electronic score that drives many of the montages. All the acting is strong, particularly Damon, who's finally able to bring his experience as a father to a role, along with his talent for giving natural, understated performances. So if you get a chance, find a scientist working in an important field and give them a hug for the great work they're doing. The thing is, after seeing Contagion, you're not really going to want to touch anyone or anything they've touched, especially when you learn stuff like the fact that the average person touches their oily, germy faces between 2,000 to 3,000 times a day. But a movie that creeps you out this much must be good, and Contagion is good, which is why I gave it a rating of 8.8. I'm Jonathan Kim for What the Flick, and be sure to check out my new movie review and political show, ReThink Reviews, on the TYT Network.